Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got some news about Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. So, first of all, this was from yesterday, pretty much yesterday evening. So I didn't really see any of this evening. It was in the morning. What am I talking about? I couldn't really see any of this until now. And there's been also a stream that I actually watched where they showcased more of Granblue Fantasy versus Rising and also Granblue Fantasy Relink. So that was really nice to watch. And the most important thing here, obviously, because it's the channel, we have to talk about Granblue Fantasy versus. So there's more news on that. There's actually changes that are visible that we will watch and we talk about. And there's also a little bit of an announcement here that they made for the game. So they say, we're making adjustments to battle and game system following player feedback from July beta. As such, we'll be holding a special stream at a later date detailing our planned adjustments before the second beta commences. Read about it here. And by the way, this is funny because people are still complaining about inputs. Man, all I'm gonna say is whenever you complain about inputs, you're allowed to, but remember to put the clown emoji on. remember the clown emoji on, because that shit is not going away. So that's pretty much him saying, oh yeah, we received a ton of feedback. And they also, something else so nice about it is that they mentioned that they've received a lot more feedbacks forms from you know, compared to what they had in previous Granblue Fantasy, you know, beta, which I didn't play at the time, which came out the same day. I remember it came out the exact same day as Code Vein beta, and also as the Neo 2 beta. And I chose to only play the Code Vein beta back then. So that's pretty funny. And at the time I was not very interested in Granblue vs. 7. I was like, oh whatever, I'm just going to ignore that game for now. To be specific, most of the suggestions we received were in response to throws, ultimate skills, raging strike, and BP birthday point system. Since the last beta, the team has been taking measures to improve and adjust battle mechanics, character balance, and game system to make Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising the best it can be at launch. These adjustments will be implemented in the second online beta scheduled for a later date this fall. We'll discuss specific adjustments details during a stream featuring some prominent players in competitive Granblue vs. scene. We'll be announcing a date and time for this stream soon, so stay tuned. So that's pretty nice. They are pretty much doing the same thing that what is it called, Guilty Gear Strive did, but very early. But in this case, because Granblue is almost about to release, so they're making it the opposite way. It's like you have it later after they have all the changes already made, right? So they talk more about stuff like the Granblue Showcase Part 1, by the way. Part 1. So I've watched the Part 1 already. It's right here. They talked about a bunch of things. There's stuff for Granblue Versus and stuff for Granblue Relink as well. But for now, like I say, we're just talking about Versus. And there's a lot of things that they talk about. They talk more in depth about like things like, oh, we have simple inputs. Everybody can do moves by pressing just R1. Or they talk even more about they're very proud of this feature, by the way. So that's why I say, if you have complaints about it, I'm sorry, it's not going away. And actually, I'm not sorry, I'm glad it's not going away. I am glad. So they talk a lot about things like that. They introduce all the systems like, oh, we have ultimate skills, blah blah. But alongside doing that, they also show new stuff from the new, you know, updates that they've made. They don't explicitly say, oh well, this is the new, you know, update since the beta and stuff like that, but you can see it's actually new. It's very obvious. The new stuff, I think it was a thing to just, you know, whet our appetite basically for the for any update for Granblue Versus. So we'll look more into it. I would also like to talk about like stuff like the training mode a little bit, because they show it more here. In case people have missed it, we have frame data now in the game, which is really good. There's also a ton of new features that they added to the training mode in general, so it's really nice to talk about all that stuff. Anyways, I'll just skip to the more interesting part in general so that we don't have to waste our time here. So right here we already have something new. So you see Story is doing ultimate punch. Look at this. Boop. Wall bounce immediately goes into a combo from mid-screen, by the way. That's insane. So a big change is that already ultimate skills have more usage, because before, when you used an ultimate skill, they were good to use to just throw around in neutral, but you didn't get much out of them. They didn't do much damage either. So now, instead of just being the way it is, because before you also had something called combo limit on ultimate skills, which means that basically when you do a move, when you do an ultimate skill, you cannot hit the opponent regardless of if they are high enough for you to hit them or not. You are not allowed to hit them anymore after that. So now they're actually removing that. There's now no combo limit, and you can use ultimate skills effectively as combo starters, or even follow-ups from doing like 2-wage counter hit as an anti-air, and then you can do an ultimate skill and it will probably lead into a combo from mid-screen. Huge. And I think that's cool too, because this is already a buff to characters like Soris, basically, right? Another thing here, it's not actually an ultimate skill, but it's more like balance change. So an indicator for Lancelot players. You know, I know the character looked kind of rough in the beta. I liked him. I actually like playing Lancelot a lot, and I liked his ultimate skills. They're pretty cool. But a change already is that Lancelot, when he does dash attack heavy, you get a ground bounce from it, and you can actually follow that up in a combo. That's crazy, right? That's insane. Dude, look at this. That's insane. That's such a cool thing, right? Another thing here, people are kind of talking about Raging Strike here, saying that it's slower, but I fail to see it being slower. And there's also another interesting change when it comes to this clip. I'll let it play, and then we'll talk about it. Right. So you guys let me know. If it's slower, because I don't see it. I don't see it being slower. But something that's interesting here is that so as we know before, Raging Strike would use 25% meter. Something that is interesting about this specific clip is that Narmaya is using more than 100% meter, or even if she had 100% initially in this clip, it would take way more than what she was supposed to use. So the thing that I take in consideration here is the fact that ultimate skills that are non-DP skills would refund meter on hit. So for example here, say she has 50%, she has 100% meter, right? So what is this? 25% already, so she's down to 75%, right? 75% meter. That's 50% gone too, so that's what she has 25% left. That hits, so it refunds. She's back to 50, right? She does another one, that's 25 gone, so she's down to 25%. But she uses an ultimate skill regardless at 25%. So the only explanation to me here is that, well, there's only two. One is that either they are using training mode and she has infinite meter, which would be kind of a weird thing to do to showcase here, and which I doubt they did it. But something that's also possible here is that they changed the resources for Raging Strike, possibly. It could be that Raging Strike no longer uses meter, but instead might use bravery points, because they mentioned in the announcement that I've read earlier that now they've also changed some stuff up. They are changing some stuff about things like, they're looking at things like the bravery system, the bravery point systems, right? And they said system, so that's also changing. So maybe that's what they're changing. They're trying to allocate the resources of Raging Strike outside of your super meter, because now you want to use your super meter more for ultimate skills, and it's something that a lot of people complained about with the cost of Raging Strike. So now maybe you only have 3 Raging Strikes per match or per round, which would be kind of cool. Especially, like I say, people say it seems slower. If it's slower and you can react to it, if you spot dodge it, that's -1 Raging Strike. That's huge. So I hope that's the case. We'll see what happens, but this is looking pretty interesting already. Another thing here about this clip, That seems to be different to me. I think to me it's very visible because I use a lot of those. It was it seems that they changed the recovery for auto combo low. So auto combo sweeps seem to just recover faster overall. Like look at this. Right. He's already in. That's much faster than what it used to be. That's already a big change. And I think that's huge because now your pressure is just better overall. This also seems to be different, to be honest. Dash attack sweep, right? That's okay. Well, it's not actually true because one actually I'll let it play again just so we can see if the raging strike is slower. Is it slower? I don't know if it's slower. But again, this is another clip where there's a lot of expensive, there's a very expensive meter usage here. If the meter management is still the same as it was in the beta, right? So she does sweep, raging strike, follows up into this. That's 100% meter gone. If that's the case, but we don't know. If it's not the case, that's at least 75% meter, I would say. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Raging Chain, the dash cancel, actually still costs 25% meter. So that's another thing that I think is pretty interesting. But I also think they reduced the recovery on this move overall because you see him teching and she's already going in. It's not actually a true setup, right? Because, see, by this time he's already able to move. So it's not a frame one thing. But if you're able to react, you can probably ultimate DP it, or you can be ready for your brave counter overall. So that's pretty nice. I think overall this is a good change too. Wall bounce again, 2H follows up from mid screen. It's crazy. That is kind of crazy that you get so much shit from mid screen now. It's so overall to me it seems like there are some specific I'm pretty sure not all ultimate skill would do that, but there are pretty specific ultimate skills that would actually allow you to do more combo. I wouldn't be surprised if more of them also have more like ground bounces and things like that. For example, Grand's boot, ultimate boot, probably does a ground bounce now. And it reminds me from the reveal trailer for Rising. I remember seeing Grand doing ultimate boot into ultimate DP. Because ultimate boot will have a ground bounce and it didn't have a combo limit at the time, so it seems like the combo limit is something that they added for the beta because they weren't sure if things like not having a combo limit would be too much. So now it seems like they just said fuck it, remove it. And that's huge. That's pretty huge. So these are pretty much the clips that are very obvious or obvious enough when you can see a change. They talk more about things like story. It's very interesting. This whole presentation is very interesting. I'm pretty sure you can already, if you search around a little bit, you'll see people already uploading the full thing. It's like 7 minutes long. But we're not here to talk about this. I also want to talk more about the training mode because it's pretty cool. So training mode, obviously we have the frame advantage back, but now we also have the actual frame data. We see the numbers for the moves, 20 frames, blah blah blah, plus 0, 6 frames startup and stuff like that maybe. So that's nice. So you have more details for the character. You have like overall like character tutorial. You have the ideas of what you want to do with the character, secret mechanics. You have the concepts for the auto combo and stuff like that. What you want to do with the character and stuff like this. There's combo training too. Pretty cool. That's good. Fundamentals, character specific matchup tactics. That's huge. So that's cool. But something that I actually want to bring attention to is the meter here, because as we know, in the beta there was meter penalty on EX moves. So I'm not sure about this part, but If somebody knows, please correct me, or actually let me know if that's the case. But it seems like Jita's Rekka here is giving her quite a bit of meter, right? And she doesn't seem to be really that much into meter penalty here. I don't know. Is that real? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so that's pretty much all the interesting things about it. There's more stuff like they talk about the little the companion. There's like a companion feature that's here to encourage you whenever you lose or when you win. It gives you like comments and stuff like that. It looks pretty nice. I kind of want to I want to mess around with this. I don't think they talk about more like Granblue. They also talk about the digital figure and stuff like that. So it's a pretty nice presentation overall. There's a lot of details here for the game. So anyways, I just wanted to bring attention to, you know, the main stuff, things like mechanics, things that have changed and stuff like that, and we'll get to know more eventually, apparently. So I don't know when the next stream will be, because they say it's just part 1. Maybe it'll be in October. Hopefully it's in October, not in November, because November is kind of far, to be honest, and by that time I'm expecting that we'll have like the beta, the release date for the beta actually. But mostly I'm talking about like the adjustment, the battle adjustment stream, where they will bring like players from Japan and stuff like that. So that would be pretty nice. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, if I missed something, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.